shut it down. And because those hundreds of teens outside pushing to get in at the time did disperse quickly, no one got hurt and no one got arrested. In Hollywood, Sophia Choi, CBS 2 News.
But it was tense. For a short time this morning, police actually were on a citywide tactical alert because of this. It was canceled just 1 hour later after officers broke up the crowd. Larry.
There's a famous part of Hollywood that might be getting a facelift sometime soon.
Someone else would be let into the party.
A few many people right at the front door, and somebody said nobody else is getting in, and the kids got upset. Yeah. And we had plenty of room inside, and it was just unfortunate that stayed.
Rooms to a minimum.
Well, coming up over Palace on Vine Street just after 10 this morning, outside, hundreds of teenagers on spring break grew unruly when they weren't allowed to get into a dance that had been oversold.
We were just like, what are you guys doing? And then everybody just started rushing out once everybody was running. And
showed up for a spring break party at the Palace Theater. Officers dressed in riot gear moved into the area around Hollywood and Vine as the LAPD went on tactical alert. Here's what started it all. About 1,000 kids attended the punk rock party inside the Palace, and another 1,000 were waiting in line outside when trouble began.
Everything was under control, and then we had a little bit of a problem with the fire marshal. He said there was too many people inside, and he told a lot of people in line that they couldn't come in. At that point, everything was under control, and there was a few, maybe gang members or some people. About 10 people started pushing the crowd, and then it just got out of hand, and we had to send everybody home.
There was some rock and bottle throwing outside, but nobody was hurt.
Pulled into the streets and became violent. About 600 people were involved in the morning melee that forced police to go on a tactical alert. It began when the primarily teenage crowd was turned away from a sold-out spring break show. The fans then became unruly, throwing rocks and bottles into the streets. Police were called. The crowd dispersed. After about 30 minutes, there were no reports of any injuries. And 4 people were arrested early today after taking 2 people.
Here at the Palace in Hollywood, it started at 8 o'clock in the morning. A spring break party called Purple Shield. $10 at the door promised a day of action.
You have fun? No
you party, you get to dance, and
you get to do whatever you want. You know what you got?
Dance and meet chicks.
But by mid-morning, an estimated 600 partygoers were still lined up outside waiting to get in. As more than 1,000 others already inside partied on. Meanwhile, some of those outside were growing impatient. Fire inspectors say they came to the scene at the request of LAPD to check on overcrowding. As those waiting outside packed toward the entrance, somehow word spread that the party was being shut down.
Somebody just continued to repeat that shutdown business.
And then parts of the crowd surged forward. A few ran for the door in confusion. There was some more shoving. And dozens of kids spilled into the street.
People thought that the event was over, and they got frustrated, and about 10 idiots decided they wanted to start pushing, and then it just got out of hand.
By the time police showed up a few minutes later, dressed in riot gear, a few officers carrying rifles with rubber pellets, most of the crowd had already dispersed. By early afternoon, a new line of people was already waiting to get in. The party resumed without any further trouble. And what could have erupted into an even bigger mess did not. In Hollywood, Chris Blatchford, Fox 11 News.
A Brentwood woman exploded into a snit outside the Palace when they were turned away from a dance that was oversold. That's when 200 officers in full riot gear moved in to break it up. It ended fairly quickly after that, and nobody was arrested or injured. Their little boy had just been bitten by a rattlesnake, which